Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action, the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Week, emotional, all sorts of things must be going through your head, but finish was the word that I got from Coach Rizzy at the half, and you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. We just want to win. Our city deserves a winner, and that's all we want to do. So shout out to DA because he helped us build this. I know he wasn't here, and I know Rizzy will say the same thing. Shout out to DA because he helped build, pave the way for us. And so, DA, we love you, but I'm happy for Riz. So that's his first win. Hopefully that gets us back on track.
Yeah, to stop the bleeding finally after all those losses. How do you guys build?
We just got to keep doing the right thing. When you do the right thing over and over again, it usually leads to good results. We've been trying to do the right thing all year, and the results just haven't been there every time. But hopefully we just have done it long enough the right way, and hopefully we can build on it.
Eric, thank you.
All right. Shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all being in this show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this live. And shout out to you guys. I got previous streams, some work I got to do today, but I wanted to drop this show on you guys. So I appreciate everybody for being in here. T Mama, shout out to you, Queen, all the queens, OG Jerry, good to see you, my brother. Appreciate y'all, all of y'all for being in the stream. Shout out to the fam. Please do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Sports Coma representing. Listen, fam, also there's a poll question there. It's the name of the show. Can Rizzy lead the Saints to a playoff push? Y'all, you see it right there. Please feel free to put your vote in. Let me know what you guys think about this. The poll is in the chat. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate you for being in the stream. Of course, this happened right after the Saints 20-17 win over the Falcons in the Dome Sunday afternoon. And Derek Carr giving DA credit. And this is what he's supposed to do. Dennis Allen drafted this guy. He brought him to Oakland. It was a tough team. He lost. He got fired with him. Then he brings him down here, pays him $150 million, and gets fired again. But he's very loyal to the dude. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a goddamn lie. DA didn't pave anything, and you can't give DA credit for what Darren Rizzi did. Rizzy took over a team that was on a 7-game losing streak. He implemented changes to the defense that were very sorely needed. He brought passion and energy and intensity to a dead team. So, no, we can't give Dennis Allen credit for Darren Rizzi's accomplishments because Dennis Allen couldn't win shit. He lost the team. He backstabbed his people. But then again, this is what I'm talking about. If you believe that, say it to yourself. There's a bunch of other people you can give credit to before you start peeling off something by this garbage coach. That's what I'm saying. It's at some point we're gonna have to get beyond his appointees, and that's a part of it. With Dennis Allen going, there are people on his team that Dennis Allen brought with him that probably will need to go too. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that as we keep it moving in the stream. Now we're gonna offer a few thoughts on the win the Saints had yesterday against the Falcons. Now, a lot of positives, some negatives. We have 24 hours to kind of celebrate this thing as we get ready to get back to business of going at the Cleveland Browns. The Browns come here on Sunday, noontime again. Jameis Winston was already named the starter for this game. So Deshaun Watson is out. Jameis Winston, who spent 4 years here, is going to be the starting quarterback. He's going to be motivated to play the Saints. It's going to be an interesting matchup. And we'll preview this matchup as the weeks go on. We'll have the injury reports on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll have the preview stream Friday, and we'll go in on it, man. So it's a lot of storylines to touch on during this week with Jameis coming back to town. But anyway, in this matchup, a lot of stuff. The Saints improved to 3-7. They stopped the Falcons and the sweep situation, which was a plus because we couldn't have that. The Saints season would have fell in the ground if they hadn't beaten them. So with that being said, the Saints will have to beget a winning streak beyond what the losing streak was to get back into contention, if that's a thing. A lot of people believe that it's a mountain that's beyond their ability, and we shall see. That's what this is all about. So anyway, quick thoughts on this one in the matchup. A lot of stuff. I ain't gonna get too deep off into it because I want to get to Coach Rizzy and hear what he had to say today. But very interesting, man. Here with his team, what was big, the biggest obvious things that we seen with the Saints was the energy factor. The defense was hitting. I mean, Will Harris was out there hitting. Will Harris hit Tyler Algieri so hard he wasn't even the same for the rest of the game. They had to go with Bijan Robinson, who really did a good job. He put up like 116 yards. So the Saints defense has to calcify. It has to get tougher because, once again, I've been a point of contention. They almost put 200 yards rushing on the Saints in this matchup, 32 rushing. They averaging almost 6 yards an attempt. And Bijan Robinson's a difficult dude. He gave them much of that, 116 rushing yards on 2 touchdowns. So the Saints allowed over almost 200 yards rushing. Not almost 2. They were 19 yards off, but 181 off of 32 attempts with almost a 6-yard per carry average is not good. You know, we have to kind of, something that's something to study upon the tape as we head into the Cleveland matchup. We've been soft against the run all season long, except for the first 2 games. We have to get back to the business of doing what we need to do to kind of get that together. Now, there was some shakeups there as Coach Joe Woods took over the play call, and defensively, we seen some plays where the Saints had a bend but don't break defense approach, where they were able to get the interception, stuff like that. But the defense did just enough to keep them in this game. Now, Youngwin Koo, however you pronounce the man's name, he was a guy was 1 of 4. Usually he doesn't do that. Usually he'll end up kicking you into a loss. And we had one of them was partly blocked by John Ridgway Jr., the big defensive tackle, got a hand or a finger on it that blocked it. And the rest of them were just, he hit one and missed 3, was 1 for 4, missed 3. That's uncharacteristic of Koo. And it helped the Saints in the winning effort. Also, the Saints did really well in the second quarter. They had one solid quarter. They put up 17 points. That was the 2 strikes the Saints had with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They got him going in the second quarter, but could not emulate that success in the second half. That needs to be studied upon because the Saints really need to focus on getting wide receivers involved in the offense to get into play action to a top attack downfield. So Scantlin needs to get more involved. We need another complement player to him until we get our Chris Olave back. Saints going to have to find that guy now. Kevin Austin Jr. had a couple of plays that really were eye-opening that I liked with him out there doing it. The catch along the sideline was pretty good by Kevin Austin Jr., his physicality. Mason Tipton really didn't have much of an impact in this game in terms of getting anything. And we kind of died off in the second half. The Falcons made the adjustment and just completely cut the Saints offense off. They didn't do a damn thing in the second half. Just kick one field goal. And of course, it wasn't totally that. There was also an egregious drop by Alvin Kamara. Derek Carr found him. He was wide open and uncharacteristically dropped the ball. That would have completely blew out the game. The Saints would have went on to beat the Falcons 27 to 17, and the field would have been a little bit different. But he kind of talked about it on the post-game presser. He mentioned it, talked about it was one of the corniest things that he ever did, was dropping the pass. We anticipate him moving forward to be more concentrative with situations like that. But Derek Carr did find him, and that would have definitely pushed Carr's numbers north of put him in the 300 range, because that was like a 50-something odd yard pass. I want to say that'll push Derek Carr over 300 yards and gave him 3 touchdowns. So you got to give him credit for that. He found him. The guy just dropped it. But anyway, the Saints have to do it, man. They got to be able to clean up the stuff and do a little bit better job. They were doing good. They had 50 yards rushing at half, but it just kind of filtered off. They had 96 for the game, 27 carries, 3.6. The Falcons did a good job of just piling up resources on the defensive line and stopping the Saints from running, basically put the second half in the hands of the quarterback to see if he can beat them. And we couldn't emulate the second quarter that we had. So, we'll see how the Saints have that, because you can't expect the kicker to go 1 for 4. And you, as an offense, have to be able to continue to put up scores to be able to win. But outside of that, it was a rough, tough, tumble game. A lot of mistakes was made, especially on both sides of the ball. But in the end, it fell right for the Saints. And more importantly, they got the win. They stopped the 7-game losing streak. They're 3-7, 2-3 at home. They welcome a Cleveland team and that is struggling also. So the Saints just radically, very quickly, within the next 2 weeks, could put 2 games together. If they can get over the win, get the win against Cleveland, then go into the bye and see about trying to get some help like this week, bringing in some wide receivers, see if they can get some guys to help out at the wide receiver position, some veterans that can stretch the field, some guys with familiarity with their systems, just scouring the practice squad, scouring the free agency currently, and see if you can find somebody within your price range and see if you can get these guys involved, because we really need help at the wide receiver position to kind of move forward. But anyway, that's my thought process on the game from yesterday. If you guys want to hear more, you can go and listen to the recap stream that we did yesterday. That's also available. Also, let's go into this article right here. NFL reports Saints to release starting offensive lineman who started the last 5 games, perhaps signaling a return of a key blocker. Now, me personally, I would prefer that the Saints put Shane Lemieux, a.k.a. Shane LePew, the Saint skunk in the street, as opposed to the guy they're trying to do it. I actually thought McGovern did a pretty decent job. I think he did a better job than LePew. I don't think this is a good decision. I think I would go with the veteran and have a veteran backup for my veteran. I don't like Lemieux. He can't be counted on, but it appears that might be the thing that they'd be going with, but we'll see. Saints announced they have waived center Connor McGovern on Monday. McGovern has started the last 5 games for the Saints, playing every offensive snap in the process. An 8-year pro, McGovern first sent into the NFL as a 5th-round choice. He played his first 3 years with them before spending the last 4 with the Jets. He played 192 games at center and guard over the first 7 NFL campaigns. That's a lot of experience. After injury to starting center McCoy, the Saints signed McGovern off the Jets practice squad, and when other offensive linemen, Lucas Patrick, Shane Lemieux, and Nick Saldiveri also went down with injuries. McGovern was pressed into action just 3 days after being signed against the Chiefs. Over the last 3 weeks, the Saints have gotten Patrick Lemieux and Saldiveri back into action. Last week, the Saints also opened a 21-day practice window for McCoy to return from injury reserve. Patrick missed Sunday's win over Atlanta, but Lemieux was active, and Saldiveri played all teams' offensive snaps. McGovern's release also signals that the Saints could activate McCoy this week. and he will definitely be activated this week. So you would definitely get Eric McCoy back. And McCoy, who's had the groin, has been out since week 3. You know, when we lost to the Eagles to start the Saints 7-game slide in that Eagle matchup. But Lemieux is going to be the guy to go to. Me personally, I would love to just keep Connor McGovern as our center with all that experience. He got a guy with all that experience, and he played more games than a Shane Lemieux could be counted on. So I do like the fact that we'll get Eric McCoy back, but you know, hopefully I would have definitely kept Connor McGovern as opposed to Shane Lemieux. The guy just can't stay healthy, can't be counted on to be nobody's center. And Connor McGovern did a decent job. He did a lot better job than Lemieux could ever do. Shane LePew. All right, anyway, man, let's keep it moving and get into this one right here. Darren Rizzi, this is what he talked about today. Let's listen to Coach Rizzi's thoughts on the Monday presser and what he let's hear what he had to say on what happened with the Saints getting that dub. Here we go.
Looked over the game and everything over the evening and all that. What's your anything you takeaways for you from the performance?
Yeah, we talked about the effort and passion thing all week, and I really felt like it just jumps out on film. You know, it felt on the sideline. You know, but when you're a coach and you watch the game tape, you kind of feel it jumping off the film, right? There's no sound, there's no audio, you just kind of, and the players, it was certainly a great atmosphere on the sideline, but that after watching the game again, that's the one thing that stood out. We did some things well in all 3 phases. There's certainly some things that, we got to get better in every game, but, you look at the turnover, no turnovers yesterday was a big deal. That was a huge deal. 25 pass attempts, no sacks, big deal, right? I think offensively, when you look at it, there was a big difference between the first half and the second half. So that's got to be something we continue to preach, is just finishing the game. There's a couple opportunities we had at the end of the game with the ball to kind of get the game, control the game. We didn't do that. Defensively, I thought we started fast. We forced 2 fumbles that we didn't get. Obviously, we had the huge interception, which I thought might have been the biggest play of the game. And, but we gave up too many explosive plays. So, you look at the good and bad of everything. And special teams, same thing. We did some really good things there, too. I thought Matt Hayball eliminated their return game on the punts, really executed our game plan. So, you go back and you look at it. Certainly happy as heck with the result, but there's certainly some things we can take away to work on.
Rizzy, you probably asked it yesterday, probably, but what was the sense of relief? Because, some games are long.
In terms of what
in terms of 7-game losing streak.
you talking about just the overall stretch of the yeah, John, I probably got lost in the week last week, because it was kind of like it was a little bit of a fresh start, a new season almost, and so I don't think there was a whole lot of people talking about the losing streak last week more than all the changes. So I think that was a good thing. So we talked about pressing that refresh button or restart button, whatever you want to call it. So I kind of think that everybody in the building's approach last week was, hey man, just want to know, and so that part, but yeah, overall for the whole organization, the city, getting off the streak is a good thing. So for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point by Coach Rizzi, because that's what it's about. People wanted to get the win. The players wanted to win, and they won. They broke the slide. That's what it was all about. Getting acclimated to what a win feels like again. Falling in love with the feeling of winning again. And that's a big part of it. And that can't be underestimated or understated either, that with the Saints doing what they were supposed to do and just losing and repetition, 7 straight losses, feeling the energy and the vibration of getting a win and falling in love with that feeling, that would help promote players to work harder to go back to getting that feeling again and not going back to what it feels like to lose. So that can't be underestimated or overstated, to be honest with you. I agree wholeheartedly on that.
No doubt.
You mentioned sort of things slowing down a little bit on the offensive sid in the second half. It was 5 3-and-outs for the last 6 possessions. What do you attribute that to, and what can you work on to kind of keep that in the middle? Yeah,
listen, I think a couple things. I don't think we punted in the first half. Right? I think all 5 of our punts were in the second half. So, I think a couple things. Number one, we didn't execute as well. Number two, they made some plays. We didn't get, our third down conversions. That's what we really got to improve on. We got ourselves. And then there's a couple, we had some negative plays in those last couple of drives I mentioned. We had negative plays, penalties. We got the intentional grounding, which put us in third in a million. And so, that's where we got to really get cleaned up. I thought our efficiency, even that first drive of the game, I think I mentioned yesterday, even the first drive of the game, even though we didn't convert that 4th down, you still felt momentum and tempo and all those things. I think overall, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had 2 holding calls and offsides and the intentional grounding. So four offensive penalties And so that's got to get better still. We still had 8 total team penalties, 4 on each side. So that's something that's still, there's room for growth there. And so wasn't really one thing. You got to credit them a little bit. They changed a little bit of what they were doing, took some things away. We weren't running the ball as well. But, even that last drive, there's I talk about the 111. We're one guy away from that second down run to Taysom being a gash game over. I don't know if you go back and watch the film there, where literally their backside linebacker was able to get over the top and make the play. We get him blocked, and that thing's out in the secondary. And same thing. We got just the execution at the end of the game. It wasn't like we had poor execution all day. We didn't. I don't want to put the wrong narrative out there. But just the inconsistency. But big difference between first half, second half. So when you punt 5 times in one half, that's not good. So.
You feel like it's
no. Yeah, and he's right on that, man. But Coach Rizzy mentioned it. And no doubt about it that they got to clean that up, right?
Call me Santa Fran, but I'm the cleanup man.
The reason I know so much about him is because he's moved up an old girl of mine.
Swept her right off her feet and into the jag.
was diagnosable and therefore but treatable. Right?
Yeah, nothing that it's earth shattering. So, but certainly, most of it's on us.
I think sure you got a lot of congratulatory messages. Anything of note you're willing to share?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think I told Doug and a couple people upstairs. I got a lot. My favorite one so far is from Archie Manning. Archie reached out, and so a little side story to that. My son Christian, who's at the University of Texas, him and Arch are good friends. So when I glanced at my phone, I thought it was Arch, and then I realized I said, "Oh no, this is the big dog. This is Archie." So and so we had a nice correspondence. So I really appreciated that. That was pretty cool. Listen, he's the one that started it all, right? So I got a chance to meet him a little bit during some high school football games and things like that, where his grandsons and my sons played against each other. So that was pretty cool. So I've talked to Archie before here at practice and everything, but that was pretty nice, pretty neat text to get. So that was the one that stuck out the most.
Having been around other interims, there's that jolt of energy that teams can get after immediately. What did you learn kind of from sustaining it and trying to apply it going forward?
Yeah, well, quite frankly, I think it's going to be our biggest challenge. I just told the coaching staff the same thing. I said the same thing in the locker room after the game. It's a little bit easy to get on board right away and then see if things go well and then kind of pick and choose. Our biggest challenge this week, I think, is to be, can we sustain the same level we had, energy we had in practice last week? Our preparation week last week is the reason we won the game. That's it. I really believe that, and because that made the execution part the way it was, because we prepared, we had great meetings, we had great practices, we had great walkthroughs, and that translated to the field. And so, can we bring the same energy? Can we bring the same execution? Can we? So, I feel like we have a really good formula right now in place, and now it's going to be, can we sustain the same thing week after week?
You mentioned yesterday that Alvin's game ball was an all-time game ball, and when talking to Cam Jordan in the locker room, he said when you made him captain, it was the biggest dub moment. Like it was Alvin that. Did you notice how well received and maybe that even giving the team a joke when you made them as a captain last week?
I did. Made that announcement. I spoke to Alvin Friday. I told him I didn't want him to say anything, so we made that announcement Saturday in the team meeting, and he got a loud ovation. I can tell you that. So, but like I said yesterday, in my opinion, obviously, he deserves it because that's the way he's been playing, that's the way he's been preparing, and that's the way he's been in the locker room. And so, but yeah, I did feel that. I felt that from the team. It was very, very well received, and I think it made a lot of people had some smiles on their faces, and so yeah, it was, to me, it was a little bit of a no-brainer. Yep.
Cam.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like I know it's about Coach Rizzy. Coach Rizzy is a player coach, right? But he's also very involved in what's going on with the team, and I think that's really popping. Like if you listen to what he says and how he talks to the players, and the energy's very dialed in, very connected. It's just total the opposite energy than what we were getting. That's why I want to give Rizzy the credit, because this guy, the previous regime the previous coach couldn't get the team to win. It was a 7-game slide. The team was lost. So that's why I take some bit of offense to credit being given to a fired coach. The guy had the team. He lost the team. So ain't no credit given now to somebody who lost the team, man. That's crazy, asinine, and back ass. But Darren Rizzi is the one who his talking and communicating with other coaches, because a lot of these ideas that Coach Rizzi has, because he's been conversating with his coaches, his offensive coaches, his defensive coaches. He's been communicating with those guys in an attempt to improve the team. They knew what was wrong with the team and why the team was losing. Those ideas just don't come out the blue. He didn't have that much time to prepare. When they fired Dennis Allen was what, on a Monday? Then he had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday while trying to practice to figure out what they need to do. A lot of these things were already things that they knew that they were supposed to do that Dennis Allen did not implement. He did not implement the type of changes that Rizzy and them did, like taking Brian Young, the pass rush specialist coach, and making him the defensive line coach, demoting Grantham. You see what I'm saying? Doing the demotion of a line coach. You know, this is the type of stuff you're supposed to be doing. When the 7-game losing streak was hitting the Saints, there was no demotion of none of these coaches. When Rizzy took over, he demoted the defensive line coach and promoted another guy. That's what you need to do when you're looking for change. And none of that happened. So I can't give that dude no credit for none of that. I can give him the credit for why the team was failing, but when the team winning, that was Rizzy. Rizzy got in there with his energy and his passion, and he got those guys a win first time in several weeks. But it's a very positive thing. And the question is, as we move forward, is can Rizzy lead the Saints to a playoff push? And a lot of people don't believe that he can. Me personally, it would be a tall order. It would be a tall order to do that. It'll be a super, super tall order for them to pull that off. I'm not going to even lie to you guys. That'll be incredibly difficult for the Saints to do, but it is very possible. If you take a look at the Saints schedule moving forward, they have some very winnable games there. You know, it's very true. They have some very winnable games here. And that is where we as a team need to keep focusing on. Like, if the Saints have the talent, and they shouldn't be this bad. They shouldn't be a whatchamacallit team. It just doesn't make any sense that they should be this bad. But, you know, when you got a coach that don't know what he's doing, I can understand why you would look, you know, trash and all this kind of old stuff. But anyway, this is the schedule. Let me kind of go through the rest of this, and then I'm going to leave. Like I said, we got Pelican post-game report stuff coming up. The Pelicans game's going to play. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this. That's what my stream is not going to be very long on this Monday. But then again, Tuesday, we'll be back on Patreon to kind of recap the All-22 tape and talk about more of the Saints transition. Now, currently, what's on screen right now is pretty much, if you take a look at what's going on here, this pretty much what's happening right here. These are some of the remaining games. Let me see if I can get a little further down. There you go. These are the remaining games that the Saints have, right? Of course, we beat we're sitting at where the Browns is before the bye week. The Browns aren't very good either. They're about in the same league with the Saints, but still in all, you got Miles and all these other guys, players that can hurt you. The Saints going to have to make the catches, make the blocks, stuff like that. We're going to have to run the ball to get into the play action game. So we haven't heard anything in terms of them bringing any wide receivers in right now. None of that has been talked about, which should be, in my opinion, the focus for the Saints moving forward. Is they need to see about getting more wide receivers, trying out some wide receivers. You know, I'm not comfortable with the guys who we have, but we haven't seen that. Maybe that'll be the plan to kind of just get through Cleveland, and then the bye week they'll do it. But like I said, with them putting Chris Olave on the injury list, they don't have access. He's not eligible to come back until the matchup against the Washington Commanders, which will be December the 15th. Where he'll be coming back eligible for the 4 remaining games at the rest of the end of the season. But the Browns is here, then the bye, then the Rams at home. So the Saints have Cleveland at home, then they rest and then come back against the Rams. And then they go into New York to take on the not so good Giant club. So the Rams aren't all that either. The Rams are like 4-4, something like that. The Rams aren't quite the juggernaut that we remember them to be. They're not really the same team in my humble estimation. Yeah, they're far from what they even rumors circulating around with the quarterback being traded. But yeah, the Rams are they're 4-4. They're a 500 team. Matter of fact, they've won 3 in a row. So that might be changing something. They got back to 500. So the Rams will face off against the Rams after them. And it's always a difficult matchup when you got the Rams, who's supposed to be playing the Miami team in a few minutes. So, or they're playing them tonight rather. But the thing going back to the schedule is, and this is why I'm kind of doing this, because I'm trying to get the mindset of the team. It's like, what do you guys think? What happens here? Well, Coach Rizzy, can Rizzy lead the Saints to a playoff push? Well, it's right in front of you. You got Cleveland and Rams, Giants, Commanders, Packers, Raiders, and Bucks. So what is this? 8 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games remaining. Saints have 7 games remaining in the schedule, and a bye week for rest. So they can beat the Browns. They'll rest up for the bye, and they'll be probably the healthiest they've been in a while when they come off of the well-rested bye against the Rams in the Dome. Now, this is not a juggernaut team. The Saints, if they play like they're supposed to play, they might be able to beat the Rams, but the secondary still need to figure some stuff out. We should get Kool-Aid McKinstry back at some point. That'll help. Rico Payton will come back. That'll help. So we should get some help in the secondary there. My main concern is the Saints need to kind of get more pressure on the quarterback. We really need to get some wide receiver help as well. But you got the Browns first, then the Rams, then you go to the Giants, which is Giants, one of the worst teams in the NFL. Still can't look past them, though, you dig. And then you come home for Jaden Daniels in the Washington club, and this Jaden Daniels Washington club is very good. They're a good team with Jaden Daniels. What a difference a quarterback make, right? The Commanders are 7-3 right now. They're right below the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 7-2 in the NFC East. So the Commanders are putting in that work, man. They really are. Jaden Daniels is having a spectacular season, to be quite honest with you, with the Commanders. So he'll be there and coming back to the Dome to play. Then we go to Green Bay in the cold to take on the Packers. The Packers currently are 6-3. And that's when it kind of gets tough. You get a little tough run right there between the Commanders and the Packers. You got the Commanders in the Dome, and we don't really do well against scrambling teams. If Jaden Daniels is doing his thing and the Saints can't cover him, he's going to run all over the Saints. And then you got Jordan Love and the Packers, on a Monday night game. So Jaden Daniels, well, you got the Rams, a 3:00 game. Then you got the Giants, a noonday game in New York in the cold. You come home for the Commanders noontime game. Then you get a little extra week because you don't play after you play the Commanders. You play, the Monday night game against the Packers. That's an ESPN game. So we'll have a primetime matchup against the Packers on Monday night, and that'll be in the cold. Then the Saints come home for a bad Raider team who's been not too good, one of the worst teams in the NFL, and then they finish out against the Buccaneers in Tampa. So what I'm saying is this schedule, if you look at it, you look at some danger there. We know, the Saints can beat the Browns. We can see that. The Saints can beat the Rams. That's a possibility. Both games in the Dome, can they get it? Giants aren't that good. Commanders are going to be something. So are the Packers. The Commanders and the Packers games are going to be something because both of those type of quarterbacks give the Saints problems. They can't seem to do nothing with those type of quarterbacks. And if Jaden Daniels is there and Jordan Love is there, that could be problematic for the Saints, especially if you're getting in the shootout with Derek Carr. Now, beyond the Washington game, we should get Chris Olave back. We'll see how it looks, but it's still not going to be very easy. But what do you guys think? Y'all let me know in the chat. How do you feel about this? And just spanning out, can Rizzy get the Saints there? That's the big question. But anyway, with that being said, I'm getting ready to get out on Hit Listen. I appreciate all you guys for being in the stream tonight. I'm sorry I couldn't do a longer stream with you guys. But listen, I'll be back on Patreon Tuesday. If you guys want to know how to do that, simply go to the description section below, join our YouTube page, or simply go to patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. The link is in the chat, patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, or simply join our YouTube page here to have access to a ton of locked content covering the Saints on our Patreon stream. So anyway, with that being said, man, I wish y'all have a fantastic night. Thank you guys for the super chats and the cash apps. Much love, fam. And I'm going to get at you on tomorrow or for the rest of the family on Wednesday for our first Saints Wednesday injury report against the Cleveland Browns. Much love and who that to you. Peace.
Yeah. Huh? pissing, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like pissing, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say?
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action, the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That.